Hi, and this is Funny Women on Air, and today's topic is motherhood and what bad mothers we all are, or maybe we're not. And I'm Lynn Parker, I'm the founder of Funny Women, and I've got three absolutely amazing, banging funny women with me here today. I always have guests that I meet on the comedy circuit, running Funny Women. I'm going to introduce you to each of them one by one. They're going to talk a little bit about themselves. So I'm going to start with the wonderful Pauline Eyre.
Hello, I've got cake. I'm happy.
Tell us
Banoffee
a bit
cake.
about
Lynn brought
yourself.
cake. That's all you need to know is Lynn brought cake. She's got three women who are also mothers here, and she brought cake, so we love her forever. And my cake is a banana. Oh, sorry, me. But it's got banana and caramel. I'm Pauline. I've been doing comedy for about 2.5 years. I'm in my day job. I'm a voiceover, and I'm also an antenatal teacher. I know a lot about mothering.
Yeah. What's your best antenatal, postnatal tip, Pauline?
Don't buy any of the stuff.
What stuff?
You don't need all of the stuff.
What stuff?
You know all the stuff they
Drugs?
want to sell you. Have all the drugs, but they all the stuff they want to sell you for having a child.
Oh, well,
You
like
know,
the car seats.
Biggity boggity boo boo bar bar.
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
little angel.
More of that later.
Yeah, I don't need any of
Because
that.
in the time that I've been a mother.
You need arms and boobs
Bugaboos,
and love.
isn't it? Bugaboos?
Bugaboos are one thing. Loads of things.
Didn't have
Loads of
those.
things.
Didn't have those in my day.
No.
Next up, we have the amazing Sindhu V, who actually has quite a lot to say about mothers, because we sort of started, didn't we, with mothers and motherhood?
That's
That's
right.
where
We
came
did.
in.
We did. So yeah, because the first time I ever did anything remotely related to stand up was at a Funny Women workshop, and the task was, what would your mother think if she knew you were here? I'm like, oh, okay, let me tell you, and I did, and that's where it started. Yes, I'm Sindhu. I'm a comic, and I think motherhood is one of those things that people say, well, yeah, motherhood's kind of funny, and it's like, yeah, but it's very dark. And that's what
Yeah.
makes it funny. You see what
Yeah.
I mean? It's one of those things where the real things about being a mother are pretty dark. And I think they're darker for women because you have to, in this day and age, when you're not just procreating is not your main function, you need to, you need to tear yourself into two. One, the person you were, and then the person you become when you have kids. And if we couldn't laugh at it, we would all be in a psychiatric hospital. So that's what I think. I don't even know where I got off on this track.
No,
It's the middle of the
that's good
afternoon.
enough.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I just want to say the title is Funny Women on Air,
Yeah.
which made me think of when you're having the baby and they want to give you air. And they're like, would you like the gas and air? And you're like, how are you even asking me? Just put the thing. The Funny Women on Air.
I think we might bring some air in later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might help us
Yeah,
get
ooh,
through
no
the rest
idea.
of the day.
Yeah, I love it.
And the person who will remember the gas and air experience most is our third guest, Kelly Ford, who's not long had a baby. So
Yeah.
she's the new kid on the block to motherhood.
Absolutely, Lynn. I've got a 1.5-year-old,
Wow.
and when I took 5 lugs on that lovely nitrous air, I ended up sounding like a tranny. Moo. Or maybe a cow being slowly put down. I can't quite remember. But yeah, I'm Kelly Ford. I'm a comic, and I have a lovely blog, a parenting and lifestyle blog called Book of Mum, where I kind of muse honestly about the weird yet wonderful world of becoming a mummy. Because I felt kind of duped. I don't know about you
Yeah,
guys.
I think we all did. Yeah.
I was in a very delirious kind of pregnancy bubble, listening to whale music, visualizing pictures of canals, for this amazing birth when I was just going to breathe my baby out. And, it was actually just a car crash on the M25. So I just feel like actually Book of Mum has enabled me to be honest about what it really is like for me being a mummy, which is actually very different to what I thought it was going to be.
It's very glossed over, isn't it, motherhood? And I'd like to just explain that between us, we cover, I think, 4 decades? The 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and me in my 60s on the perilous slopes of maybe grandparenthood, which is another whole ball game, probably another whole program, but I am certainly not ready for that. But I actually think that that's what I want to talk about, is how we deal with it at the different stages. I mean, Pauline, you had your first child in your 20s.
Yeah, 28.
And the rest of us, I think, were 30s.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Everyone's going very quiet suddenly going,
I know,
don't ask me.
Well, I, cards on the table. I'm definitely the oldest here. I mean, I could easily be grandparent. My son is 29. just about to move in with his girlfriend.
Here
Yeah,
it comes.
very terrifying. But that's it. How do we deal with it at different stages? And then some women have their kids when they're in their teens. I mean, how do we deal with that?
Some people plan them, apparently. Weird.
What, in their teens?
No, just plan children at
No,
all.
yeah, plan children.
I have friends who have moved here from the United States, and they have planned their babies because they don't want the youngest baby in the year, so they plan their babies for September and October.
Wow.
I have to
It's
say-
spectacular. It's like, wow, that's a lot of forward thinking.
Okay, confession time. Did any of you plan children?
Truthfully, Lynn, I was getting on
Yeah.
a little bit.
Oh, right.
The parties.
So it was
were
on the
kind-
agenda, was it?
A little bit, and so I was getting quite friendly with an app, and
That's not how you make babies, darling. I'm sorry.
Tell us
I hate
about
to
the
bring in
app.
the professional voice here, but
But I think I was like, you know what, we've been partying a lot for quite a long time. I think it's time we shared our fun with someone else, and so there was kind of like an 8 months of like, let's just see when I ovulate. Come on, it'll be really fun. And then it was like, and then it wasn't happening, and then I was like, oh no.
Yeah, see, I think that's the terrifying thing, because
Yeah.
my first child, self-confessed complete accident, and probably would never have got round to parenthood at all had that not happened. Then the impetus is on you to have another one. You're going to have another one. So there was an element of, I say loosely, planning, i.e. no contraception, and it didn't happen for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And that didn't worry me particularly.
No.
But I would say the last year of it, you do start to think, ooh, but there were no apps. There were no apps in those days. I mean, we're talking pre-app.
So my friend kind of said, Kelly, do you want to borrow my sex kit? And I went, what?
What's
I
a
don't
sex
know what
kit?
it
What's
is. I don't know what it is, but I really want it. Yes, please. And it just meant this kind of weeing on a thing when a machine told you to do so. And then it would be like,
Goodness.
bing, 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 you need to go for it. And I'd be like, honey, do you want to come upstairs? And then we'd do it. And then we made a baby.
But you sounded American when you invited him
Yeah, I
upstairs.
did.
It's better when you're American.
Okay. Oh,
apparently.
yeah. It's very exotic, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is your husband not American?
No,
so
he
must be
isn't.
so that must be exotic for him.
It was very exotic. But the truth of it...
And then, boom, you had, yeah.
I mean, actually, it wasn't that exotic. It was just in the family bed. Well, not family bed,
Family
my bed.
With your mum and dad sitting on the side.
Yeah.
Well,
Fabulous.
talking about mom and dad sitting on the side. So I got married, and my mother was like, 2 weeks after the wedding, which happened because, well, it happened because we were getting, my husband asked, yeah, that's fine. But no, 2 weeks after the wedding, she called and she said, so when is baby? And I said to her, we got married 2 weeks ago. So what you did in honeymoon, chat? I said, yeah, but I'm not going to tell you. And she said, हाँ मुझे मत बताओ, don't tell me. Go and tell somebody else. I'm your mother. I'm like, what? Wait, this whole conversation's out of control. And then once a month she would call and say, so baby? And I was like, no, I'm working. I love my job. And then one time she called and she said, I said, hello? And all I heard was, and I said, mommy? Because I could recognize her number. She said, ruk jao, wait, I have to wipe my tears. So I was like, what is it? She said, I had dreamed that soon in few weeks I will be dead. And I will not even see my grandchild. I'm like, you're not going to die. What are you like? And then my dad texted me and said, your mother's getting more and more concerned. Maybe you could think about this. I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. So I got pregnant. And
Just for your mother.
literally, it was
Yeah.
like, because I was like, what if she did die? Then I would live with that stuff
Wow,
forever.
she's
that
good.
that she told
Yeah.
me.
She took
Not
you
only
there.
is she good, I'm stupid. So then I had the baby, and my mother was like, "Oh my God, you're pregnant. That's fine. I will come and do everything." Which, by the way, she did. She came and did every single night. She slept on the sofa. She did the
Amazing.
nights. She used to say to me, "You please go to sleep and eat the special food. And when baby needs food, I will put it in the boobie." I'm like, "That's not what?" But I would sleep through it. She would just undo my blouse and stick the baby there. And when he was done, she would wind him and keep. She literally. So I was like, "Okay, since that's the deal." And I shouted at her the whole time. I was so angry after I had the baby. I was like, "It's all your fault." She said, "I know, but that's why I'm taking care of baby. It's fine. You go back to job. I will have the baby."
What a legend.
She was.
She does
She
sound
is.
like a
She is a legend. And I think So when you say family bed, I always felt like, fine, I better have this baby because if something was to happen to her, that would be the worst story.
Oh my goodness.
Just be like, she told me. She told me she was going to, be gone, and I didn't listen, and now so anyway, that's how I had
Well,
the
she
baby.
sounds like a real good mother rather than a bad mother.
I think it's one of those things that I think mommy has over time become a better and better mother. She kind of, when I was born, she sort of started out, baseline was not high. And then as I got older, she became a therapist. And I think that really opened up her mind to like, oh, maybe I should do things differently. You know what I mean? Yesterday I was talking about something, and this is with kids. You know how you have this instinct to protect your children? So my father used to travel, and we would have to travel with him, but he would then go off and do inspections and stuff. We would live in these guest houses in remotest parts of India with 2 guards outside, always. But in the forest in India, we all believe live witches. Bhutani, witches. And
What do you call them? How'd you say it again?
Bhutani.
Bhutani.
And their feet are turned inward. So from a very young age, as a child, you're told, come home at 6, otherwise the Bhutani will come and get you. So as a child, you come home. You're home.
Yeah.
Every time we were in one of these guest houses, my mother would sit on the bed and she would say, I'm very scared if there's a Bhutani under the bed, you guys check. And I used to be petrified. And I would say, but I'm scared. And she would say, I am more scared, just check. So we would like creep under the bed. There was never one. But I asked her this a couple of years ago. I said, why did you make us check? She said, because I was so scared. I'm like, well, we were scared too. She said, no, if you were so scared, you would have just not done it. Oh my God.
We were allowed to say no.
Hashtag bad mum.
Yeah.
Hello.
Definitely. Right, Pauline.
Oh, so I didn't plan mine at all. So
No.
I got married and whoopsie, 3 months later discovered we were pregnant. And my immediate thought, I was 28, and my immediate thought was, I'm going to get expelled from school. I just felt like I was 15 and I got pregnant. I felt I was in so much trouble.
She
And I had
looks
to
so young.
That must
Yeah,
be
she
it.
does, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Look so young.
Absolutely gorgeous on the radio. But no, I'm absolutely terrified, and I thought everyone's going to be cross, and we didn't have anywhere to live. And I remember my big thing was I called my mum, and I just called my mum for the telling off, and called her and said, "Oh, I've got something I need to tell you. I'm pregnant." And my mum said, "Oh, a baby." And it totally changed everything. I'd never thought it was going to be a baby. I just thought, I'm
it's just
pregnant. I'm in,
pregnant.
to
I
me,
see.
pregnant and in trouble, just because we didn't have anywhere to live and we weren't planning it. And for her, immediately it was baby, and that changed everything. She was wonderful. And it was
Wait,
wonderful.
Were you
Mum.
actually married at the
Just about.
Just
And then
married.
of course, she spent the next 5 years going, oh, and the baby is 1 year, almost to the day since their wedding, almost to the day. Just so everyone knew. Don't worry, it was almost a year to the day. Yeah,
Very fertile.
very fertile. Well, of course, particularly fertile because we weren't going to have any more. I was very
Yeah.
ill after the first baby, and we weren't going to have any more. So we definitely planned not to have any more. And then 9 years later, had a little oopsie accident, and it turns out you are particularly fertile when you produce 2 eggs in a month. Who knew? Twins. So I have twins.
You have twins?
So my second one's are twins. Yeah.
Dude, I always wanted
2
twins.
pregnancies, 3 babies. I am just competing.
But that's
You know.
great though, twins. I always wanted twins.
But you've had 3 pregnancies. You win.
Yeah. I mean, I never had. I don't think the third one actually. My husband and I had sex. I think we thought about it very hard, and then ding, because I remember waking up and saying, "I need to have some more kids. Like it's getting late." And I mean, it's like time is running out. So I said to him, I think we should have another baby, and he said, "I'm traveling," and I said, "Okay." And then I was pregnant. I don't know, and it looks like him, so there's no weird stuff going on.
Good.
It's just that I think it was just like we thought it so hard, and I am Indian. I mean, without generalizing, there are a billion of us, so it's something we do. Anyway, but yeah, do you guys ever feel like you think more about your mothers after you had kids?
Oh yeah. I also have an elderly mum now, so I'm in a whole different phase. And
Yeah.
actually, my relationship has changed in the sense that I'm almost like the mum to my mum, who's got problems, health problems, and stopped driving, and you feel responsible, and that's another whole phase of life that we have
But
to
it's
go
so
through.
lovely going back the other way because my mum's elderly as well, and all she really wants is hugs and back rubs.
Yeah.
And I get
like a
the
cat.
loveliest hugs in the world from my mum, who's tiny. And now my boys are older than me. My boys, my twins
That's
are taller than
interesting.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just only
How'd you do
mentally.
that?
But because they're taller than me and she's tiny and really small, she's lovely. And it's like giving back. And she always says,
Yeah.
"Oh, you do so much for me." And it's like, well, kind of owe you. So it's lovely. It's the nicest time with her. I'm loving
What
it.
about you, Kelly? Because
Well,
you're new baby.
New baby, and actually, I know this is funny women, but I sadly lost my mummy, age 15. So
Oh my gosh.
when I got to Christmas last year, and I saw that the Liberties had a beauty advent calendar at the costly sum of £200, I said, I'm going to buy that, you know, because I've done a whole year of being a mummy without a mum. And that,
big up.
self-love, because actually it is a big deal to have
Yeah.
a baby, and you do naturally think back to your mummy and growing up. So actually, you know,
That's
I kind
huge.
of think self-love. I'm so grateful that I had my mummy for the time that I did.
Yeah.
And you know, I know this is funny women, but actually it's important to speak for those ladies that
No,
don't have
definitely.
Oh,
mummies.
it's huge, huge.
And I think we all take I certainly admit to taking my mother for granted. And when my babies were babies, they're now 29 and 25, my mum and my father were so important, and I can't imagine how difficult it must be. What about your mother-in-law?
Mother-in-law, fantastic. Big up the Sally Bannister. Yeah, she's fantastic.
But it's not the same as your own mom.
Well, yeah. I mean, Sindhu, the thing that's so great is that it makes you appreciate all the other amazing people in your life. So,
Yeah.
That's
you know,
point,
my
right?
dad and my siblings and my great friends have just like, they literally came in like pigeons to a nest. They were like, I've got this baby grow, I've got this thing. And it's actually incredible that through such loss, you can actually have such an incredible positive amount of love as well. So I'm
I think it's amazing. 'cause
respect to myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Big
And
up.
do you know? I think it's
Still,
amazing
£200
because
is a
I
hell of
think
a lot, though, for an advent calendar. I just
that's
want to
true,
say,
that's true.
bloody hell,
I was going
£200.
to ask what is in this
That's true.
calendar.
One of the things I think is that when you have a kid, you connect to a kind of a love in yourself that you didn't even know existed, you know. But that you know, and you've done it, and you haven't had your mom around. It just shows how. I always think women never realize how much they're capable of until they have a child. Now, I know this sounds like I think women who don't have kids won't experience it. I can't speak for that because I'm not in that. Maybe they do as well. I just can only speak to what I have experienced. You know what I mean? The capacity we have to be like, I can raise this baby, I can love this baby. It's amazing.
Well, actually, also just to endure labour, because let's get back to
Shall we talk nuts and bolts here?
Yeah.